All right, so after I graph this, I'm going to go to graph. And a lot of times when you go to the actual like 10 by 10 zoom standard, right, you may not be able to see it. Can anyone help me with like what I could do maybe to go? Yeah, zoom out, right? Just start zooming out, just like Mason said. So I'm going to zoom, and I'm going to go zoom out, okay? Now with this specific problem, it talked about someone throwing something off of a cliff. So the one I'm focused on is the first quadrant, okay? So I'm going to zoom more towards this right-hand side. So when I go to zoom out, I can just go to the right side. And again, I know a lot of you know this, just as a heads up. And what I can do is just simply press enter. And I can kind of see it start here. You see kind of the 0 or x-intercept, but let's zoom out again. And I could just go to the right, and then every time I press enter, it just kind of zooms out more and more and more. And probably just one more time will get me the full parabola that I need here, okay? All right, you kind of see it right there, okay? All right, so question for me. As we go through these specific questions, I would recommend even drawing it out as you're going through it. So here I am. I've got, let's go here. Perfect, got you here. Okay, I've got this. It kind of comes up and comes down. What quadrant am I focused on? 1, right? So you've got the cliff here. You got to kind of visualize it. It gets tossed into a what? What does the problem say? Gets tossed into above the water, right? Cool? So it gets tossed into the water, all right? So here's all the fish down in here, okay? So that means what can I get rid of? The bottom? Good. What about over here? Yeah, we can get rid of that too, right? Because it can't go backwards. Like, here's the person up here, right? Here's Coach Jay, 6 foot of him, throwing it over a cliff into the water, okay? All right, so get rid of that. So all we're focused on is the ball that goes down here, okay? Cool beans? All right, right on. So as we go through this, part A says, how far from the base of the cliff is the height of the projectile a maximum? How far from the base of the cliff is the height of the projectile maximum? What's the first key word you see? Max, right? So we're going to try to find what is this maximum right here, okay? So to go there, we're going to go to this side. And anytime I say any of the stuff, maximum, 0, whatever, go to second trace and go down to maximum, okay? So we'll press enter. And then are y'all familiar with left bound, right bound? We feel okay on that? Seeing no? We're good. Bianca, did you have a question on it? No? Okay, I thought you said this. Gotcha. Is everyone good? Sorry for calling you out. I'm sorry. So go left bound, enter. And then we can go to right bound, enter. And then somewhere in the middle on the guess side, right? So there's 3 questions. Each spot you press enter at, and there you are. So my maximum is 1.56, comma, 200.78. 1.56, comma, 200.78. That is my maximum, okay? Now, you've got to be able to kind of dissect what's being asked, and that's, I think, the hard part. It says, how far from the base of the cliff is the height of the projectile a maximum? How would I answer part A? Any thoughts there? Where's the base of the cliff? Yeah, right here, right? So this would be like the cliff right here. Say that again. The y would be the height at which it would reach its highest point, right? How far from the base of the cliff? You see what I'm saying? Until it hits the maximum. So it's really my what? X. Very good. So I would say A is 1.57, and I think we're talking feet here, unless it didn't say. If it doesn't, yeah, feet. So 1.57 feet, okay? Look at part B. Find the maximum. You see the difference there? Yeah. Find the maximum height would be what?
That would be the 200.78.
200.78 feet. Good. Okay. That's the height. That's the distance from the base. Okay. Cool. Any questions off that so far? Awesome. Let's go through C and D just to make sure we've kind of got this here. On C, it says, how far from the base of the cliff will the projectile strike the water? Someone raise their hand and tell me, what's that really meaning? David?
Just find the x-intercept.
Bingo. Yeah, so where it hits the water would be there. Cool? So 0 or x-intercept is what we're looking for. And do I care about the one back here? Not for this problem because of how the word problem's working out there. So we'll go here, and then we'll go second trace, go to 0. Big thing is, remember, left bound is above or to the left of it, right? So it's going to be over here. Press enter. Right bound's to the right, below it, and then somewhere in the middle is my guess. Okay, so 26.61, and that would be C. So 26.61 feet is the distance until it hit the actual water, okay? And then D, when the height of a projectile is 100 feet above the water, how far is it from the cliff? Probably the toughest question we faced so far, okay? First of all, A, B, and C, are we good? We're good, okay? Any thoughts on D? When the height of the projectile is 100 feet above the water, how far is it from the cliff?
Could you just subtract the 100 from your 200?
Yes, that's exactly right. Good. And you would say, how is that? Remember, what does h of x mean? Height, right? So normally, like this, we set it equal to 0 and solve, right? Because we don't really have a height. But in this instance, we're going to actually put 100 in for h of x. And if we do that, we get 100 equals negative 0.32x squared plus x plus 200. How do I get it equal to 0?
Subtract 200.
Subtract. Well, you could, to get it to the right side, right? We want everything on one side.
Yeah.
So we could subtract 100 here. And then we get negative 0.32x squared plus x plus 100. And so what you're going to do is once we set this equal to 0, is we'll then solve for the new x-intercept or the new 0 that's there. Does that make sense? Kind of, sort of? You want me to do that real fast? Just real quick. So this is the new equation, right?
X-intercept now.
Say that again.
You just find the x-intercept now.
Correct.
Plug in.
It would just be like a new one, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you're exactly right. Kind of the same thing I just did, except when I go to my y equals, like Jake said, we're just going to change this to a 100 right there. Graph it. You're going to see it's kind of smushed down a little bit. And once I find that x-intercept, same thing, second trace, go down to 0, left of it, right of it's got to be below, and then in the middle would be 19.31. Cool? And so I would just say my D is 19.31 feet. Okay?
Coach, could you just do trace and like go to where 100 is y?
Yeah, I think so. Could I try that real quick?
Yeah, I got like 19.3.
See it.
I couldn't get to exact 100. I got 99 points.
I just wanted to see what Jack was saying, because that's a good thought. So you went here and just press trace?
Yeah.
See here. And you just went, how'd you do it? Just
I just went over a little bit, so I got like close to 100.
gotcha. I'm guessing you're zoomed in, right?
Yeah, I was in the middle more.
Gotcha. So you just said, okay, trace, and then as I go down, you're looking for y. Oh, you just kind of measured it.
Kind of, yeah.
If you do that, just be very careful.
Yeah.
And make sure that it's on my actual graph. Cool?
Mhm.
I would say the more accurate way would be to subtract
Yeah.
it and go from there. But if you're pretty close to it, that's fine. Okay? Cool. Questions on that? Does that make sense? Y'all good? I am not going to do that all day. We could go through every single problem. Here's what I will do. Today after school, the ones that I'm going to hit are the other two word problems with the calculator, okay? So you can always go back and track those and go through those, okay? Here's what I want to do. As we go into the review game today, to know what ones I need to kind of go over, I'm going to use this whiteboard. And if you say, like, I don't know, I'm just making this up. Oh, number 3 I struggled with, or me and my partner struggled with. I can help you today, but also, as I help you, let's keep a list of what ones I could really go over through the podcast, okay? That way we kind of know these are the ones we need to focus on, okay? Cool beans. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We got our Settlers of Catan game. You remember this? Okay, we're going to go right straight into it. It's a fan favorite. Everyone loves it. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop right into it. I'm going to give 25 minutes to go and go through as many as we can, and then the remaining like 10 to 15, we'll go through stuff together. Okay, any questions you have and go from there. Cool? All right, y'all ready? So every problem you get right, you'll get 3 cards. Okay? 3 cards for every one you get right. Check with me through after each one, and that way I know, okay, you guys got it right, and so on and so forth. Okay? Are y'all with the same groups as we've been with? If you want to trade, go ahead and make those trades now. I'm joking. Don't do that in front of people. But if you want to rotate or whatever, feel free to do that.
Wait, it's groups of 3 or 2?
Groups of 3. If you want a group of 4, for some money, I will do it. Okay? For some money, we'll do it. Ready?
Yes.
And let's go. Let's do it. Keep this up here. And if you need me to go through anyone specifically, let me know. Yeah, cool.
No.
What would go in the box?
Coach.
Because whatever makes it equal to 0, right? Does that make sense? Yes, ma'am. You may. Hey, I'm Bianca. I'm so sorry. I thought you said no.
Oh no.
My apologies.
Hey, coach.
Yeah.
For number 3, just list all possible references that test.